I found this Reddit post and I would like to talk about it because this really highlights the importance of managing our credit card debt. Credit cards can be amazing if you use them well, especially if you can get points and maybe travel reward points or even cash reward points, whatever that may be for you. There are benefits to credit cards, but if you do not use them wisely, they can become a pain, especially if those debts end up growing and ballooning into something big. So let's talk about this Reddit article. If you find value in this one, please don't forget to drop a like on it. Again, it's not my post, it's just what somebody shared, but I thought I should share this because there are a lot of lessons to be learned from it. Assuming that I can even make it out of this situation alive or not having to declare bankruptcy, never ever again. I ran up about 20k in credit card debt by agreeing to go on a bunch of vacations I couldn't afford and spending all of my money at the bars. Stupid, I know. I was buying things I couldn't afford with money that I didn't have so that I could impress people that I don't even like. How many of us have been in this situation where we try to impress people and, we want to drive the fancy cars, have the nice wristwatch, nice shoes, belts, and all this stuff, only to be putting ourselves in more debt? The person continues, I'm a software engineer and I have a somewhat respectable income. My thought was, I'm sure I'll be able to pay that credit cards back and make a lot of money. A lot of people fall into this. And by the way, this is just me interjecting. A lot of people fall into this thinking they make a lot of money and there's no problem paying back that credit card debt. But it takes a few things to happen and then you are derailed entirely. Let's continue. I was not on a zero-based budget, so I didn't realize that there was no way in the hell that I could afford those trips. I eventually realized that the minimum monthly payments had ballooned out of control and they were eating up my substantial portion of my paycheck. All of that overspending was cute until it wasn't. After I ran up that debt, I got into a car wreck. I had no money, so I couldn't buy a new car. And my credit was so jacked up because of the credit cards that I couldn't get anyone to approve me for a reasonable car loan. I had to go through a year of absolute hell with no transportation at all. I finally have a car now, but the interest rate is terrible. So now the person has debt on their credit cards, which means they're paying a lot of interest on it. And now they have a car note that is also very expensive. This is how people can get into trouble. And this is why it's always best to pay your credit card off right away, because it only takes a few things to start happening and then your priorities change. And then you see that credit card that you thought you would pay off, you can no longer pay it off. Let's continue. I found out recently that I have a very bad cavity. I'm in so much pain and I need a root canal to hand it, but I can't afford it. I have no money. My credit cards are basically maxed out and I can't get approved for a reasonable loan to get my care. Now we have three problems. We have a root canal problem. We're paying high interest on our credit on our car, and also we're still trying to pay back on the credit cards. Now this person goes on. I'm not going to read everything. I'm just trying to share a very basic understanding of what really led to this person's issues. Now the truth is, we all can find ourselves in this situation. That is the truth about it. We all can find ourselves going on vacations and spending money, thinking, "Oh yeah, I make a lot of money. I'm going to pay it back." Next thing is, we get into a car wreck and then we have to go get a new car note. But guess what? We haven't been paying back those credit cards and now they've been going up in the balance has been going up due to the high interest rates that we get on credit cards. And then our credit score is impacted, which then means that the car that we want to get, they would have to either charge us a lot, or we have to put down a lot of down payment, or we take up a car that has a very astronomically high interest on it, which then makes us even more poor, unfortunately. And then guess what? Now having a health problem, which means you have to even either take more debt to deal with the health problem, or you kind of literally have to, bear the pain. And as we know that dealing with pain or health problem is one of the very important things that we don't want to deal with. But root canal is not something you can plan for. So the point here is, credit cards can be great if they are managed well. And this is why I always preach, make sure that if you're going to get into credit card, try as much as you can not to use it, even if it means borrowing money from a friend or a family member. Because at the end of the day, the credit card interests or the interest the credit card would hit you with can balloon the balance into high amounts, which then makes it even more difficult to pay back.